This is a detailed breakdown of how to turn your profile into cash, aka paying clients. Now, over the past 3 years, I've worked with more than 20 online business coaches. I've spent thousands of dollars on mentorships, coaching programs, webinars, one-on-one calls, etc. And every single dollar I spent taught me how to gain and convert attention on social media. Then I brought my clients millions of views, thousands of followers, thousands of engaged leads. And now I will show you the system step by step, A to Z, detailed as fuck, so you can take it, copy it, and get it for yourself. Now, if you're already trying to make money from your socials, this will solve the following problems, which is an audience you don't want, which is probably the audience you have right now, which is unqualified, it's idle, so they just follow you, then pretty much don't do anything. They're cold, and because of it, they're hard to sell even when they book in. And also your booking rates are low because of all of these characteristics as well. So not only is it hard to sell them, it's hard to get them on a call as well. And the thing is, this is the type of people you get on calls when you run this type of funnel. Just run ads to a VSL and get them to a call. This is the type of people you will get on calls when you run this. Why is it? Well, because they have so little touch points with you. They just see your ad and they just see your VSL. Plus, all you have is just one chance of actually closing them and getting them to pay you. You do not want this. What you do want is an audience which is qualified, engaged, warm, and because of it, it's easy to sell. They are pre-sold before they get on a call with you. How can you do this? By running this type of funnel. Running profile visit ads to get people to follow you, aka enter your ecosystem. And then here is where you will make them warm. You will make them pre-sold in this part over here. And then you will not only get way more people booking the calls with you, you will also have such an easier time closing them on the call, because as we said, they will be pre-sold. And this is what we're about to go over in detail right now. Now, this visual over here represents pretty much every single fucking funnel there is. People see your face, some magic happens, they pay you. It's the most simplified version of what I'm about to go over right now, which is this. Let's get started with this. These are the 3 steps you need to go through to actually cash people out. Let's start with the first one. The first one is to get qualified people on your page. You can nurture the fuck out of everybody, but if they don't have a problem that you can solve, it doesn't matter. You won't book them in, and even if you do, for some reason, they will not pay you because they do not have a problem you can solve, which means you want people who have a problem you can solve to get on your page. There are 3 ways to do it. You can do it with Reels, aka organically with Reels and YouTube, and profile visit ads. Reels and YouTube are explained down below. That's why we're gonna focus on profile visit ads. This is not a must. You can get qualified people by just doing Reels and YouTube, but this is the most predictable way of getting them. Letting the right people know you exist. The goal: get as many qualified people to follow you and enter your ecosystem. Why is this important? Because when a person who has a problem that you can solve follows you, they will constantly be slapped with your content, with your reels, with your stories, with your YouTube channel, everything. Which means you have unlimited time to actually get them to trust you, get them to connect with you, get them pre-sold, and then actually get them on a call. That's why this is so powerful. And of course, not everybody who follows you immediately will be ready to buy immediately, but that's not the point. The point is to sell them rather late than never. And by them following you, you have that opportunity. Now, to do that, to get qualified people on your page, you need to ask yourself these 2 questions. Who specifically do I want to reach to make the right people follow? And how can I make them follow me? AKA, what in a reel makes people click the follow button? Let's start with the first one. Who specifically do you want to reach? To know who you want to reach, you have to be clear on your ICP. And this simple process will help you know with certainty who you should talk to. First off, pick a sales call or any call you had with your dream clients. So let's say you have some students or clients already, and you're like, damn, I want more of this type of person. Get the calls you had with that type of person. Find it, copy the transcript of that call, put it in ChatGPT, and tell it to extract pain points from that call. Then you can do that for multiple calls with multiple good students you have, and then tell ChatGPT to just extract the most common pain points. And that will be your North Star. You can know for a fact that this is the type of person that I want on my page because I am already satisfied with that type of person in my program. Then all you do in your ads is write scripts around those pain points to hook that exact type of person to watch your ad. For example, if the pain point of your prospects turns out to be that they feel spread thin between marketing, chatting, onboarding, etc. By the way, before I continue, a lot of examples I give are OFM based because I've worked with a lot of OFM coaches. That's why. So this works for anything. I just put OFM as an example. If you're a fitness coach, if you're a e-com coach, copywriting coach, it's all the same. The same principles. So, yeah. So if the pain point is I feel spread thin between marketing, chatting, onboarding, etc., your script should start something like, if you run an OF agency and they're doing every single part of service delivery, you are fucked. Because you're hitting on that pain point. Or something like that, you get the point. So now you figured who you're trying to talk to. Now, what in that specific reel will make them want to follow you? Take a second to think about why you follow people. A second has passed. You follow people who post content that talks about topics that you are interested in, solves problems that you have, resonates with you, and people who show their personality and you end up liking them. So sometimes, even if they don't talk about your problems, you just like the person who is speaking and that's why you follow. And these are all the things you have to use and you have to take advantage of when you are scripting your ads and your content as well, but we're on ads right now. Their content is so valuable, aka interesting to you, that you don't want to miss out on any new stuff they put out. That's what you're trying to do with this. Because they are talking to people who have the same interests, problems, and desires like you. Aka, they're talking to you, which attracts you to their ecosystem. And since they attracted you by talking about your problems, now they know that they can provide a solution and sell you on it. Because you obviously have a problem. And that's exactly where you have to be clear on your ICP, to know who you are talking to, and then sell them later. L-O motherfucking L, bruv. But don't forget, the only thing that will differentiate you from everybody else is your personality. Because there is so many people offering the same type of coaching, the same type of services and stuff, and the only thing that will make you different is your personality, and that's why you have to use it. Like, pretty much everybody says the same shit, but the way you say it and your own metaphors, your own examples will make you different. That will make people actually buy from you and not somebody else, your personality. Now, the conclusion of this little segment over here. Get clear on your ICP, talk to them in the ad, and don't be a fucking robot. People buy people, not services. You know why people follow. How the fuck are you gonna script the ad? Just to remind you, the goal is to get people to click this button. It's not to sell them on something. It's not to get them on a call immediately. It's to just click this button. And because of it, do not make any offers in the script. Look at your profile visit ads like normal organic reels, where you share value for your ICP. The only difference is that you put some money behind it. And when you do that, they will follow you by nature, as we explained. Once you get clear on your ICP, you can just put that information in this script template. A link to this Miro board is down below. Go and get it. And this is the script template. I will not go through everything here. I'll just take over the hook. Hook in Profile Visit Ads works like a filter. You should always start the hooks by clearly stating who you're talking to. Why is that important? Let's say, for example, you target 20-year-old guys who are trying to lose weight. You would start the ad with, if you are 20 years old and struggling to lose weight, etc. This works like a filter. When that ad gets shown to me, I will scroll by, which is good because I'm not trying to lose weight, which means I'll never fucking pay you. But whoever is 20 years old and is trying to lose weight, they will stop and listen, which means everybody who is not a person you want on your page will scroll past. Everybody who is a person you want to get on your page will stop and listen. Then, if the rest of the script is good, they will proceed to follow, etc. P.S. If you notice that a specific organic reel you posted is bringing in quality followers, then just boost it. This is even better than just scripting an ad on its own. Why? Because if an organic reel, without you putting money behind it, is bringing in good followers, just slap it with some money. It will bring in even more and get the most out of it. Keep in mind, you will still get a ton of unqualified followers even when you do everything right. Only around 30% of them will be qualified, but we have to make sure it's not less than that. That's just how it is. You will always have unqualified people on your page. Profile optimization. Lock them the fuck in. Now, let's say I'm your ideal prospect right now. I'm your ICP. I see your ad. I get hooked. I watch it till the end. I check your profile. And then I see this shit. Am I following? Probably not. Which means you almost got an ICP to follow you, but you didn't because your profile looks like shit. Your Instagram profile is like your landing page. You have to treat it as such. Landing pages are meant to sell. Your profile is meant to sell. Every follower you get is considered as a conversion. Therefore, if the landing page is bad, the conversions will be low. That's why you have to optimize your profile well. Optimized profile looks something like this. I'll just rush through this. You've heard this a million times. Profile pic. Make it clean and professional. None of this and all of this. I think you have enough common sense to know what clean and professional means. Now, your username. Keep it simple. Avoid underscore signs, whatever, and avoid names like Coach Chris, Mentor Chris, whatever, because this just sounds like too salesy. This is a personal brand. You want people to see you as just a person, and your business is just something that this person does. Pinned post. Pinned post is a post you pin on your page, obviously, which explains who you are, what you do, and why you do it. This is an example. This helps people immediately know what you're up to and what your goal is. And that's what you're trying to do. You want your ICPs, when they get on your page, to immediately be able to tell what you're doing. Now, you can do that with pinned posts. You can do that with highlights, where you show testimonials and case studies, because it immediately establishes authority. And why is it? Well, because when people open up your page, they see your highlights and they see testimonials. They're like, okay, this guy's an expert. He knows what he's talking about. It establishes authority. That's what you want. In the highlights, you also want lifestyle, which shows personality, and it will build a connection. And you also want a my story, aka start here story sequence, which is literally a story sequence that tells people who you are, what you do, your story, kind of gets them hooked into your story, gets them hooked into you, your personality, whatever, with a direct CTA at the end. So when somebody finishes, if they want, they can immediately DM you the keyword or whatever. This works great for building trust, connection, everything. Now, just to say something, every single thing we're about to do from A to Z will either build authority, connection, trust, whatever. The same things will be repeating itself over and over again. And that's because you want to use every single thing you can to build as much of that as possible. That's why these words will repeat a ton. Okay. Bio. You want to establish trust and authority with a key achievement. You want to tell people what you do, who you do it for, and have a direct or indirect CTA in the bio. And for a link in bio, just use a deep link for your YouTube channel. This is an example. I'm not gonna go too detailed in this. I just think you already know it all. Make your thumbnails look clean with pin posts in check. So pin posts we just talked about, and just make thumbnails look clean. Don't make it like all fucked up and shit. Now, when you have a profile which looks like this, once people get hooked with your ad, see the ad till the end, and look at your page before following, they will decide to follow. And congratulations, you got your ICPs to actually click the follow button and not run away when they open up your profile. The first step is done. We got qualified people on the page. Let's just revise what we just did. We figured out who we want on our page. We made an ad which filtered exactly those people in the beginning, and that way we made sure that only those people watch till the end and actually get a chance to follow. We had our profile optimized, so when those people went to look at our profile, they decided to click the follow button and not run the fuck away. Congratulations, you have qualified people, aka people who have a problem that you can solve, following you on your page. Now you have limitless time to actually nurture them and get them on a call. So now when you get those people on the page, you have to get them warm, get them to trust you, get them to connect with you, get them to see you as the best guy in the space, and get them to like you. And you do that by nurturing. And you can do that with Reels, Stories, and YouTube. Spam the fuck out of all of this, but spam the fuck out of it the right way. And let's start with Reels. Now, the goal of Reels is to first off get new attention, because as we said, ads are not that important. They are just the most predictable way, but you can do it with just Reels alone, which will automatically get you more attention. It builds connection, it builds trust, it positions you as an expert, and it makes you stay top of mind. What did we say? When qualified people get on your page, when they follow you, you want to slap the fuck out of them with your content. And the Reels are the best way to do it, because they're following you on Instagram, and when you are consistent with your content, you will always be top of mind. Now, they might not have a problem you can solve right now, or they might not need a solution right now, but once they do, in a month or two from now, you will be the first guy that comes up in their mind. And to do that, you have to be consistent and post consistently. That's the goal of Reels. Not only that, but through all of that time, you will be building trust, connection, and making yourself look like an expert. That's the point. This is the goal. To tackle every goal over here, you need at least 3 content pillars. Every content pillar serves its own purpose and complements the other. Let me explain. Value, lifestyle, and personal. These are the most common ones, most widely used, and they're used because they just work so well together, and I'll explain how they connect with each other. First off, value Reels. This is an example. Now here you can see he is about to explain step-by-step process of how to do whatever. This is valuable for people because they can just save this, get back to this, and do the same exact thing. This positions you as an expert and shows people that you know what you're talking about. It also attracts people who are interested in what you teach, aka your ICP, because when you're showing what you're teaching, not everybody is gonna listen to it because not everybody is interested, but people who are your ICPs, aka people you can sell to later. Gives them a chance to try your strategies by themselves, and when they actually try your strategies for free and they work, they'll trust you a ton more. They'll see you as even a bigger expert. And they'll be like, yo, I just tried something that this guy offered me for free and it worked. How far could I fucking get if I actually pay him? That's what you're trying to do. It also builds some connection by default because they see you speak. Lifestyle content. This is an example of lifestyle stuff. You've seen a ton of these. Like before I learned what I learned and after, and then he just slaps you with Lambos, luxury, and everything else that comes with it. What this does, it builds authority because people see that you actually live in the life they want to live. It attracts more people to your page as well. It builds trust, it builds authority, and it builds connection if it's a vlog type. The most important thing is it shows people what kind of lifestyle your knowledge can get them. Because why would you buy coaching from somebody whose life you don't want? And by showing your lifestyle and showing your knowledge, they'll connect the two. They'll be like, yo, this knowledge got him this type of life. I have to listen to him to get this type of life. By the way, I think I've heard Sam Millsap say this, and there's a whole fucking drama going on with this right now. But he had a point when he said this. So yeah, props to him. Now, personal. This is a personal example. This is crucial for separating yourself from everybody else. As I said, it builds a ton of trust and a strong connection. You want to post personal stuff. These are the videos that make a personal brand personal. There is so much competition with similar offers, and therefore the only thing you have that's different than everybody else is your personality. Your own experiences, your own beliefs, your own lookings at the world, your own habits, whatever. Use the fuck out of it. People buy you, not the service. Get this in your head. You can talk about your life lessons, your childhood, how you came up, whatever. Just talk about it. Everything you overcame. Because a lot of people are exactly like that. And you will be the guy they think about when they want to change their life. Because they'll remember your story and they'll be like, yo, this guy is the same as me. Every single one of those bullet points is making people more likely to buy. And these bullet points, as I said, will be constantly repeating themselves because you want to get as much of those as possible, as much of trust, authority, connection, everything. That's what you're trying to do because that's Nurture 2.0 breath. Every single content pillar complements the other. They see your lifestyle videos and they think, I want to live like that. What the fuck does this guy do? They see your value videos. They figure out what you do and think, this guy obviously knows what he's talking about. He's living the life I want to live and he's teaching me how to do it for free. How much faster could I learn from him if I pay? This got him this type of life. They see your personal videos and think, this guy is a human being like me. He has similar beliefs as me, and a year ago he was in the same exact situation as I am right now. That means I can do it as well, and who better to teach me than this guy? You get the point. Now keep in mind, every one of those three content pillars can be split into multiple different sub-pillars, and this goes a lot in depth, but that's why I'm kind of just hovering around it. Now, for example, the same value video can be made by standardly talking to your camera, using a whiteboard, raw selfie filming style, screen recording, reaction videos with a lesson. You get a point. This is all valuable content, but this is sub-pillars. And you may find that whiteboard videos perform better for you than standardly talking to the camera. The point is to test out different stuff, see what works well for you, and then at the end of every month, you track everything with a tracking sheet, which we're about to go over soon. And then you clearly see what works best for you. Then you just double down on that. If whiteboards work best for you and your page, you double down on those. Content strategy. This is a content strategy doc we give to our clients. We have to be clear on the content pillars we're gonna do. That's what you're trying to do for yourself. Get clear on what your content pillars are. Then make yourself a calendar and follow it. On Monday, we post 2 videos and both are these type of content pillar. On Tuesday, we post these type of content pillars, which are lifestyle and talking. It goes through the whole week. Up here are just ideas and stuff to recreate, and this is in the same order as it would be here. So yeah, do something like this for yourself, and that way you just have a structure and direction to go to when you're actually filming stuff. And when it comes to your content, you just have more clarity when you have this, and it's a lot easier to scale with this. When it comes to content strategy, there is multiple steps. You want ideation, scripting, filming, editing, posting, and tracking everything. Let's start with ideation. Get clear on your content pillars. As I just said, research your competitors who are doing well. So if you're just starting out or whatever, just see your competitors and see what kind of content pillars they have and what's performing in your own niche. Then just research that and try to start with the same thing. Steal your competitors' well-performing ideas and make them your own, which is crucial, because if you just say exactly the same things they say, you're not gonna differentiate yourself from anybody, and you're just gonna be another guy. You want to make them your own, and you can make them your own by explaining the same concepts with your own twist to it. And you can do that by using your own metaphors, examples, or just a different way of looking at the same topic, etc. You get the point. That's important because you still want to differentiate yourself from everybody else and give people a reason to buy from you specifically. And you can also use tools like SortFeed to sort the best performing content of your competitors. And this way you can research the best performing trends at the time, best performing topics, whatever, and then make those your own. So let's say this is your competitor. You get this extension, you sort it by views or likes or comments, whatever the fuck you want. It sorts them out, and this is what you get. From best to worst from the last 25, which means the most recent stuff that works will be shown to you in your face. Then you can export all of this in one click. You can get into that data and start studying the best hooks, formats, topics, music, everything. And once you start using that knowledge in your content, you'll just see it perform so much better. And you do that for multiple accounts, multiple everything. And over time, you do it for yourself as well and see what you can double down on and everything else. You get the point. Here are more idea sources that are worth using, especially if the goal is to sell to people, which it is. LO motherfucking L. Audiences pain points to attract them to your page. So when you talk about your audiences pain points, you will attract more people to your page. Pre-handling sales objections, which leads to easier selling on the call. And as we said in the very beginning, you want to get them to be sold before they even hop on a call with you. That's why you want to pre-handle sales objections. You want to answer to clients' questions from your current clients, your Q&A stories, comments, whatever. So when you post a Q&A story, you'll see people asking you a ton of different shit, and you know, okay, my audience is obviously interested in these topics. Let me make a YouTube video about it. Let me make a reel about it. Let me make some carousels about it. You can just use the same question and make a lot of different type of content with the same question. Key takeaways from your YouTube videos. Just look at the whole YouTube video, clip it up into parts, or just take the same ideas you did in the YouTube video and just make them for reels. And you can also share past stories and lessons you learned to build connection. This would be a personal content pillar to build connection. Your past stories, everything you went through, when your mom slapped you on the ass when you were bad as a kid, whatever. Scripting. Every single reel, if it's talking, has a hook, body, and a CTA. That's the simplest fucking format you have, and that's why everybody uses it, because it just works. You will find good performing hooks when you research your competitors. You can pretty much steal them directly. Keep in mind, a hook is not only what people can hear, but also what they can see, aka a visual hook. Something flies at you, you start with your eyes closed, editor does something with editing, whatever. The point is to get people's attention. And sometimes when you don't really pronounce the script or have a good audible hook, you can get away with it if you have a good visual hook to still, at the end of the day, get people's attention. Now, general tips. Use a you format when you script, aka when you talk to the camera, because it makes it personalized. Avoid saying you guys, you people, you boys, whatever. Just say you. You're talking to one person at the end of the day. Now, for example, you're watching me, and the only person I'm talking to is you. It's just me and you over here. That's the same with your audience. You want to make it personalized. And your videos will perform like shit if you don't use a you format. Just pay attention to the next reels you see that are performing good. Everybody is saying you, and they're talking to you specifically. If they just said you guys, it will fuck everything up, most of the time. You can make a list of well-performing hooks that you can use, and that way when you have a list of, let's say, 30 hooks and you reuse them, you'll see which ones work better, which ones don't work as well. Then you just use more of those that work and less of those that don't work, and make different variations of those that do work, etc. By the way, I have a list of 1000 hooks, so yeah, if you want it, DM me. Now, this is important. The difference between scripting your ads and your content is that your ads should always target strictly your ICP, because when you run an ad and you're paying money, you want to damn well make sure that only your ICPs follow you from that ad, so you don't waste money on anybody else. But when you're filming organic content, which is the essence of your personal brand, you should target your total addressable market, aka your TAM. For example, if you teach people how to scale their OFM agency from 10 to 50K a month, your ICPs are people who are making 10K a month with OFM, if you're targeting those people. And you should always mention that in your ads to get these people onto your page, because you're paying for it. You want exactly those people. But when you script your standard reels, you should more often target everybody who is in the OFM space, or even in the make money online space in general. So this would be the people who are making 10K per month with OFM. This would be the people who heard about OFM, who are in OFM but making less money. So you want to target all of those people. And why is that? Because if you target only your ICPs, you'll get way less reach, and in the end, you'll just end up with reaching a lot less of your ICPs than you would if you targeted your TAM. Because when you target your TAM, you have a way more reach, and you will always find your ICPs in this reach. And it will turn out to be a lot more of them than it would be if you just target them specifically. And we're talking about organic right now. Don't forget that. So yeah, filming. Here is a filming doc we give to our clients. I'm not going over this right now. As I said, you have a link to this Miro board down below. Editing. This is your editor's responsibility, so you shouldn't even think about editing. But I have made an SOP for my own editors, which covers how to think when editing, plus some technical stuff. And it's all explained with intention to keep retention. That shouldn't have rhymed, but it did. And this is the SOP I made for them. Just make sure that when you are hiring, you're not just hiring editors who know technical stuff, because a lot of people, let me tell you, a lot of them know how to edit. They know technical stuff, they can make really sick stuff, but they just don't know how to think when it comes to the algorithm, social media, etc. You have to find an editor that knows that as well. Or you teach him, like I did. Keep this in mind. Now, posting. You can save yourself a ton of time by just scheduling your posts. And there is a ton of ways to do it, but you can just schedule directly on your IG account. You can also use tools like Metricool, but there is really no need. P.S. If you post on times when your audience is most active, you may see some improvements, but if your video is shit, then it's just shit. If it's good, it will perform no matter when you post. So don't stress over active times. Tracking. Here is a tracking sheet we use for our clients. This is what I mentioned earlier. When you are consistent with your content pillars, when you have a list of hooks, when you're consistently posting every single day, in order, you can zoom out with this. So this basically will allow you to zoom out, and you'll clearly be able to see what works, what doesn't work, what to double down on, what to stop doing, where you will be if you continue doing the same thing you're doing, because you'll see the growth you have, etc. This gives you direction, it gives you clarity, and it gives you the general's point of view. And it makes it possible for you to make proper decisions. And this is the point of view you will get when you actually use the board, because you can zoom out and clearly make decisions. That's why I put this analogy over here, this metaphor. Let's just revise for a second. Why is this important? Why is being consistent with content and right with content important? Because when your ICPs follow you for the first time, they don't even know you yet, which means they probably won't buy immediately. But when you consistently are reminding them that you exist by providing value and connecting with them, eventually they will feel like they know you, they will be nurtured, and will be more likely to buy. What matters is that when they get into your ecosystem, the ecosystem is alive and growing, slowly making them feel like they are a part of it. That's why you have to be consistent with the right content pillars and the right strategies. So what you did for now, you ran profile visit ads and you filtered your ICPs in the hook of the ad. Your profile was well set up, so when those people went on your profile, they clicked follow, and now you're slapping them with reels every day. And every single reel either builds trust, authority, connection, whatever. And you just rinse and repeat all of those things. As I said, all of these bullet points are getting repeated every fucking time. By the way, I think it's obvious that my nose is kind of running. I'm a bit sick, but still, we're gonna finish this bitch. As I said, you got ICPs on your page, you slap them with reels, but that's not enough. We have to slap them with some stories as well. The goal of stories: make yourself, aka your page, look alive, connect with your audience, build trust, position yourself as an expert, build engagement, get content ideas, filter qualified people, convert. Do you see what I mean when I say that every single one of these bullet points is going to repeat itself over and over again? Exactly, that's what we're doing. Stories are really powerful when it comes to nurturing, especially converting people. Stories will be your main conversion mechanisms. There are 6 story types, and one of them being story sequences. And you cannot get the most out of your audience if you do not use stories properly. Optimal story schedule. Day-to-day, aka personal stories. These are crucial for making a connection with the audience because they see that you are just like them, a human being. And your page looks alive and active when you have an active story every day, making people more likely to follow you. So you are always more likely to follow somebody who has a story running. That's just how it is. It seems alive, it seems active, and especially if it's something like this, which is just some random personal stuff, it connects with people. Like, you are your story, and you want to post these every single day. They're easy to do. Just snap a picture of your coffee in the morning, you working, you being on Zoom calls, you being in a gym, you doing your hobby, you doing golf, I don't fucking know, whatever. Value. Now, simplest way to provide value in your stories is by doing a Q&A. Something like this. Ask me about anything, business life, personal life. Why is this so good? Because you are giving, first of all, value to your audience when you do a Q&A. You get valid content ideas, and they're valid because your audience is literally telling you, yo, I'm interested in this. You make a connection because they are pretty much talking directly to you. They get a chance to actually ask you something, and then they see you talking to the camera and replying to their question. Hand raiser stories. You want to do these 2 times a week. These are the money makers. Now, the main purpose of these is to filter out the most qualified people and sell to them in the DMs. You do that by asking a qualifying question on the story with a CTA to DM or a poll, and DM everybody who engages. Ask a qualifying question in the story. Example, are you running an agency stuck at 3 to 10K a month? DM is Scale and I'll help you out personally. He is giving a qualifying question. Are you running an agency from 3 to 10K a month? He knows for a fact that whoever DMs him is probably running an agency stuck at 3 to 10K a month. And this filters people out. Let's say you have 10K followers and you never ran any hand raiser stories and you think your audience is just fucked. You can test it by doing this. Ask a qualifying question and give a CTA. You'll clearly be able to see where your audience stands from the ICP standpoint of view, like how many people who have a problem that you can solve are actually following you on the page. That's why these are so important. And you can also do a simple poll like this. Are you running an agency? Yes, or just getting started? Or no, whatever. Simple poll, 1 click, builds engagement, and you can clearly see how many people are actually doing what you want them to do. This way you filter people, and whoever engages, you slap them in the DMs with right a podium setting, which we'll get to in a minute. Long form. Once a week, aka long form promotion on your story. The main purpose of this is to build a ton of connection and trust, aka a ton of nurturing, and filter out the most qualified people and sell to them in the DMs. It's really important to bring traffic from your IG to your YouTube videos because of the nurturing effect YouTube videos have compared to Reels. Explained later. Now, you can bring traffic to your YouTube channel in 2 ways. By putting a link on your story and just tell them to watch it. But this does not give you all of the things that this way will give you, which is CTA to DM to get it with ManyChat. Why would this work better? Because, for example, you write on your story, if you're stuck between 5 to 10K per month, DM me the word keyword and I'll show you how to get out guaranteed. Once people get filtered by this statement, they will DM you the word and then you send them the YouTube video. It brings qualified people in your DMs because you just filtered them. Plus, they get nurtured with your YouTube video because they're literally asking you to nurture them. They're asking you to send them your YouTube video. First of all, they're qualified, then they DM you, then they get the YouTube video, then they look at it. They get nurtured, bro. And if you do your YouTube videos in the right way, they'll get their objections handled, they'll trust you more, they'll connect with you more, they'll see you more as an expert. Repeat. And then you also know who to appointment set later because they're already in your DMs. They're already there. They ask you to send them the video. Plus, no DM limit because ManyChat is a meta partner. Because of it, you can have unlimited DMs and you will not get banned. Testimonials. The main purpose of these is to get huge trust and be an expert. I'm not even gonna explain this as much as possible. LO motherfucking LBREF. And now it's time for story sequences. A proper story sequence, bruv. The main purpose of story sequences is to ultra convert, and this is the story sequence structure. First off, the first 3 stories you do resonate with them, aka get them emotional. You can talk about how you were exactly like them. So, for example, 14 months ago, I was in your exact shoes, struggled to land clients, felt like I was missing the key part of the puzzle, watching all the possible YouTube courses, sending tons of DMs. Here he is resonating with them. He's telling them, yo, I was exactly like you. I felt the same. I did the same shit. I thought the same thoughts. I was exactly like you. And then what will this do? This will hook those people in to watch further, to look at all of the other stories as well, as I wrote over here. The point is to let them know that you were exactly like them, which means they can succeed as well. And to get them to keep reading. So let's just revise for a second. When you ran ads and you filtered qualified people in the scripts, and you targeted these pain points that he's mentioning in his stories right now, you got those people to follow you because you had an optimized profile. Then you nurture them with your reels, and you had the right kind of reels, and then you run this type of story sequence. And then in the start of the story sequence, you attack those exact pain points to hook them in again after they were already kind of nurtured from the reels you did. This is why we are rinsing and repeating the same shit over and over again. Build trust, build connection, build authority, blah, 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 blah. You get the point. So you start your stories with this, resonating with them. They see themselves in your story. They'll be like, yo, I am exactly the same as he was back then. That's my life right now. They'll see themselves in your story and they will be interested in reading more. Then they go to the next story and you're like, yo, now I take home an average of 15K per month from copywriting. This is a copywriting coach, obviously. And not only you say this, but you also show them proof. Now, this gives them hope because they read the previous story where you resonated and they want to keep reading to learn how you did it. And it gives them hope because if he can do it, why the fuck couldn't I do it? He was exactly the same like I am right now, and he managed to do it. Why the fuck couldn't I? This gives them proof. They go on and keep reading more. Then briefly say something you did differently. I've got to 15K per month because I've built a system that allows me to consistently get high-paying copywriting clients. I managed to do it because I've built a system. This way they know that all they're missing is a system. And it sounds simple, like, okay, he was exactly like me, and the only thing he did was found a system. I need to get a hold of this fucking system. You get the point. Now they want to know more in detail, because it sounds simple, like just a system, right? Then show testimonials of people leveraging that exact same system. The same system got my student a specific result. This shows them that other people already tried your system and it worked for them, which means it not only works for you, it also works for other people. In the viewer's head, it'll be like, yo, if he helped them, why the fuck couldn't he help me? First off, he was exactly like me before. Then he found out a system which helped him get to 15K per month. And then he also helped other people, which means it not only works for him, it works for everybody else who he teaches it to. And now they're hooked as fuck. And then just throw in a CTA, DM a keyword, and I will personally make a game plan for you. But that's also why it's important to get qualified people on your page. Because if you run this type of story sequence and you start with this on a car page, like, you won't get a lot out of it because you don't have ICPs on your page. That's why everything is important. As you've seen already, we're repeating the same exact principles. We're getting them to trust you, like you, see you as authority, see you as an expert, etc, etc, etc. These principles are the exact reason why Nick Setting, I've probably heard of him, he's done this so well. You know what he fucking did? He put a payment link on the end of the story sequence. Not a DM, not a CTA to DM, not a fucking book a call link, a payment link, bruv. And people bought because he got this to the T. People trust him so much, liked him so much, saw him as an expert so much that they just bought from the payment link on his story. And people bought. That's what you're trying to get here. That's the level you're trying to get to. And you'll only get to that level by doing these principles and repeating them over and over again and getting better and better at it. That's why this works. So now, you ran profile visit ads. You filtered people you want on your page in your scripts. Your profile was well set up, so they decided to click follow. Once they click follow, they entered your ecosystem where you slap the fuck out of them with reels. Every single reel either built a connection, built trust, made yourself look like an authority, made yourself look like an expert, killed some objections they had, blah, 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 blah. Then they also saw your stories, where you share your personal life to build more connection, more trust, you gave more value to look more like an expert. Then once a week, you ran a full proper story sequence where you rehooked them again with targeting the same pain points you did when you actually get them with the ads. There is a problem. With short form, you can only get as much trust as it lets you. Like, when people scroll, realistically, if you post every single day a video that's 30 seconds long, like, if they follow you and they see every single piece of content you post, they will build trust, but not as much as they will with your YouTube. And that's why this is important as fuck. YouTube is critical for nurturing people. You will find that 95% of people who buy from you will watch at least one of your YouTube videos. The most qualified leads will come after watching your YouTube videos.
YouTube leaders, such good quality, bro. That's such good quality.
But the number of subscribers and views does not matter. The point is to have a YouTube video which you can then funnel people from your IG to, nurture people with, just have it there. It will obviously by nature and just by default grow itself on the YouTube platform and get more people in, get more attention in by itself, but the subscribers and views do not fucking matter. Think of it like this. The more your audience sees your face, the more they're likely to buy from you. Let's say you post one reel a day for 30 days straight, and every single reel is 30 seconds long. If a person who follows you sees every reel you post over those 30 days, they will consume 15 minutes worth of content. They will build 15 minutes worth of trust. And it looks something like this. From day 1 to day 30, you posted 30 short forms, every single one of them is 30 minutes long, and they built 15 minutes worth of trust over this time period. 30 fucking days. If you post just one YouTube video that's 15 minutes long, they will gain the same amount of trust in the same day, if they watch it till the end, obviously, as they would in 30 days of just consuming your short form. So they'll get 15 minutes of trust over here and not over here. That's why this is so powerful. Not only that, but you have a lot more room to share a lot more things about yourself, which makes an even deeper connection. Live streaming would be a step above that, because that's even more real, because YouTube videos you can cut, you can edit, whatever. Still, it's way more raw than short form videos are. Now, YouTube strategy, ideation. It's pretty much the same exact as it is for Instagram stuff. Pre-handling objections, audience paid points, client questions, best stories, lessons you learned, copy others in your niche, etc. Now, scripting. You have intro, body, and outro. Let's start with the intro. Intro is the main focus. What the fuck? Intro is the main focus for scripting. If you don't hook them in at the beginning, they probably won't watch anymore. As I said, you have a link to this down below. I am not explaining everything, it's explained over here. Body. If it's a value-based video, you can make a model board and that works as a script. As you can see, all I'm fucking doing is reading off of this board and then I'm just throwing in some of my thoughts as they come up in between everything here. But I'm literally reading from this board. And if it's raw talk videos, then just write down the main key points and talk freely. You'll be better off doing it that way, just doing key points, than trying to script the whole video. You're not gonna script the whole video, and like it's so hard to actually script a whole YouTube video. It's a long fucking script and it never goes well for anybody, at least that I know of. So yeah. Outro. No outro. Outros just mess up the watch rate of your videos, which is key metric for YouTube to push them more. So when you finish your valuable video, it's 18 minutes long, and in the first 15 minutes you've done all the value. At 15 minutes, when you finish the value, you start doing like, thank you for blah 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 blah, blah. Bro. They're clicking off, bruv. As soon as they hear thank you, they're like, adio, bruv. Do not use outros. Just cut the video off after the value part. If you have any CTAs, implement them in the body. That way, people are more likely to see it and they won't click off because they know there is a lot more value coming. When you put a CTA in the body, somewhere in the middle, they know, okay, there is more stuff that's coming. That's why you want to put the CTA somewhere in the middle and not at the end, because most of the time when you put it in the end, they already fucking left. Like, forget about it. Just cut it off. And you can have an outro like, yo, follow me on IG, peace out. Something quick like that. So yeah, those are kind of key points to do and to use. Now, editing. No need for expensive editing. People care way more about the value you're giving. Think about yourself. When you go on YouTube and you mostly want to learn something. Well, not always. If you want to get entertained, then you'll open up MrBeast, which is like highly fucking edited. But it's probably not the point with you because you're in the same bucket as I am, and I don't really do that. So yeah, you're going on YouTube to figure some stuff out and to learn. Editing is not that important. Even though it's not important, there are some really simple things your editor can do to make it more engaging, because some people can just talk and keep people's attention, and some people really can't do that, and they would like some help of editing to keep retention. And here are 3 main things you can do to improve the retention. Zoom ins and zoom outs. So your editor should know this. This will keep the video engaging from start to finish. Just making it zoom in, zoomed out, you get a point throughout the whole video. And the zoom ins depend on the tone of voice. Your video editor should also know this. PS, use 2 camera angles if possible, because it does the same effect. It's just not monotone, it has more motion to it, which makes it keep people's attention more, which increases retention on the video, which makes it pushed more, which makes more people to see your video, which makes you make more money because more people saw your video. You get the point. Unlike shorts, where you just use one track, in YouTube videos, you should always change the track because you change it as the theme of the video changes, which also keeps it engaging, it keeps it different, not monotone, and it's just flowing good. Your editor has to know this. That's why I said when you hire editors for yourself, they have to know social media stuff. Everybody will know technical stuff, but not everybody will know this. That's why you have to get yourself a good fucking editor. So you do zoom in, zoom outs, you have music, you change the music as the theme of the video changes, and you add some subtitles on key points of your script or whatever you're talking about. Not the whole video, just key points. So if you just do these 3 things in your talking videos, you will increase retention. Thumbnails. I've learned this from Alex Becker. He can explain it way fucking better than I can, but I'll try my best to get the point across. Because the point is, you just have to get the principle in your head. And I'll explain the principle. Every single thumbnail has to make a person first off look at it, get curious, and click. This is how it goes. First off, you need a trigger. A trigger is whatever gets the person's eyeballs to see your thumbnail in the sea of others. So when people open up their YouTube, they'll have 100 thumbnails shown to them at the same time. A trigger is what will get them to actually look at your thumbnail, because that's the first step. Now, people are psychologically drawn to eye contact. That means that you can use your eye contact and get advantage of this to actually use it in your thumbnails to get people to look at your thumbnail. That's why it's the easiest trigger, as you see right here. He explains it as well, not just me. It's eye contact looking directly at you with a weird face. The more weird the face is, the more likely it is for people to actually look at it and get curious. Now, there is a lot of different stuff you can use as a trigger. Eye contact is just the easiest way to do. You'll probably pick this one out of everything else. It's just something weird that will grab an eye of a human being. Now, once you got them to look at your face, they will proceed to look at the text. So, first step is done. They looked at this. That's the first step. Now they're gonna read the text, which is a curiosity text. The text in the thumbnail should create a question in their head to which they now want to get the answer to. For example, hey stupid, run sexual ads, then sell this. Hey stupid, it's again triggering and emotional. You're also getting emotional, hooking them that way. Run sexual ads. Now, sexual is a triggering word and it's fucking weird. The word ads will filter the right people. You're triggering them, you're getting them emotional, and you're filtering them. The same principles are repeated in Reels, Stories, YouTube, everything. This targets the audience you want. The word sexual is triggering and it creates curiosity. He's telling me to run sexual ads. Like, who says that? Now, they saw the first trigger, so they saw your face. They looked at the text. They got curious because you're fucking weird here. Plus, they got a bit more emotional and triggered. Then they'll proceed to look at the headline. I explain an ad funnel that makes me 72K per day. This creates a story that they must complete because, as we just ran them through the whole process, they got confused with this sexual ads and he made 72K. I have to know how he made it with sexual ads. Sexual is a key word here. Plus, it filters people, as I said, because it says ads over here. So you get the right people to actually get curious, to want to finish the story, to actually click, which means the right people are clicking. Now, by now you have grabbed attention, hooked their curiosity, filtered them, created a story they must complete. And obviously, when they click the video, it has to relate, and just make this relate to the video. That's it. Keep in mind, there are videos that blow up with raw thumbnails, just screenshots of Miro boards or them or people at the desk. These videos blow up. The important thing is that you have a video on your YouTube where you give a ton of value so you can send people to it and nurture people with it. Use it as an asset. These are just some general tips to give you general knowledge of how to make this even better. You've done all of this. Does it matter if you don't get them on calls? No. So what do we have to do? We have to cash out. And thank God, now we know that people who we're cashing out are actually qualified, interested, warm, and easy to fucking sell. So let's get to this. Warm outreach. And it's warm because you're outreaching to people who are engaging with your profile. Go, book calls, and cash out. Couldn't be more simple than this. The biggest mistake people make is that they build a landing page, they post content, and they simply wait. They wait for people to come in by themselves. Of course, you will get some sales this way, but if you only rely on waiting, you are leaving so much money on the table. When you have a proper appointment setting process, you will not only get a lot more calls booked, but you will also increase the show-up rates and increase the conversion rates because of the extra touch points you had with prospects. Outbound DM sequence. So you are reaching out to people who engage with you. That's still outbound. Even though they engaged, you are still reaching out to them first. We're gonna use the CQC process. First you connect, then you qualify, then you convert. Message anybody who touches the account, engages on a story, likes a post, comments you, follows you. They are all leads. As we said, when you run ads and when people follow you based off of your value content, you know that they're interested in your solutions, which means they probably have a problem, which means they are your leads. That's why you want to connect with them. I'm not gonna go over every single one of these like scripts. You can just, as I said, you have a link to this motherboard, you can get it for yourself. I'm just gonna rush through this. It will take too fucking long. In the first message, in outbound, you want to make sure that you have a personalized line. Just having a personalized line will increase the open rates drastically. It's so more likely for them to open if you actually take 2 seconds to look at their profile and just comment on something. For example, respect for hitting the gym, you look buffed AF in your profile pic, hahaha. It makes it so much more likely for them to open just by doing this. Now, then you want to qualify with a message which quickly qualifies them. Are you running your business with your coach as well? Here is, you're qualifying them. You're making sure that it's worth talking to them. Then you identify the gap. Nice. Where do you want to be with that in a few months? So they have to have this clear in their head. Like, you are here. You want to be here. And this is the gap. And the only way to get across this gap is to pay me. That's what you're trying to do here. Then you identify the need. What do you feel is missing for you to actually cross and build the bridge across this gap? And you want to get in their head and be like, yo, my coaching is missing. That's what you're trying to do here. Message 5, you offer help. You make an offer, you book them in. Not going over this, you can take it. It's a bit explained over here. This is an example, blah, 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 you get the point. Now, always reflect and do not be too rigid with this script. And quick tip, if you're setting by yourself, use voice notes. As much as possible. LO motherfucking L, especially when you want to give a longer reply. We'll get to that in a second. Why would you use voice notes? Because voice notes make more connection, build more trust, feel more personal. Same principles. Now, do not say let me know or asking any other open-ended questions. When you ask an open-ended question, it makes it hard for them to respond. When it's easy direct question, it's easy for them to respond and more likely for them to actually open the message again and give you a response, and then you can work with it. Do not reply with messages which are way too long because it just looks too needy. And as I said, if you have to give a longer reply for any reason, you can just run a voice note. Do not pre-qualify too much in the DMs. You can use an application after. And do not ask too many questions because it adds too much friction. Now, inbound DM sequence. This is people reaching out to you, sending you keywords, asking you for help. So when you put a story up, a story sequence, and in the end you have a CTA for them to DM you, that's inbound. People connect with you. The person reaching out does the connect part. So you can skip this part and you skip that and you can get away with asking way less qualifying questions, because if they reach out from a story which qualified them in the beginning, you can get away with this. These are the examples, not going over them right now. Follow-ups. Now, somebody leaves you on scene pretty early in the conversation. Never say any of these. Do you see how pathetic this sounds? Do not say any of these. We first follow up with the next step of the conversation. First follow-up. Let's say somebody left you on scene when you asked, oh, I see, would you like some help with that? You can just continue with the next part of the script. Now, you do follow-ups 24 hours after the last message. If you do it before that, you'll look needy. Do not do it before that. Wait at least 24 hours and then send the first follow-up. Voice notes if possible. When people see a voice note pop up, they kind of want to hear what you have to say. That's all I'm going to say. Now, second follow-up. Complimenting them on their latest posts. So when you continue the script, you cannot be continuing the script the whole time. So then you compliment them on their latest post. You can like their story, comment on something they posted. You just get their attention this way. It doesn't look needy. It looks like you're just a good person who's trying to share some love. Do that 48 hours after the last follow-up. Third follow-up. Okay, now you have to switch from getting their attention to actually giving something to them again. And you can do that by just sending a YouTube video that's applicable to their situation. This way, you do not come across as desperate or annoying. You're just coming across as somebody who actually wants to help them out. And when you make this applicable to the prospect situation, they will usually get curious and check what you sent. Once they check it, they're not only back in the conversation, but they're also getting more nurtured, by your video and get a chance to see what value you can provide them with. Example, yo name, a lot of people told me this video helped them solve certain problem. You told me you were struggling with that too, so I thought I'd drop it in here for you as well. And then if they do not respond after 2 days, just send what did you think about it. Now, long-term follow-ups. Now, these follow-ups are for people who never responded to the first follow-ups, for people who you had a good chat with, but they just didn't end up booking, and for people who were on a call with you, they just didn't convert for any reason, and to re-engage old followers. These are the examples. You can do this, or you can just send more value. You got qualified people on your page. You nurture them by slapping them with the right kind of content over and over again, building trust, authority, looking like an expert, being likable, being the go-to person. You know what I mean. You have a right appointment setting process so you don't fuck up in the DMs. You booked qualified people in. Not a single booking is worth anything if people do not show up. You have to get people to show up, and that's why you have to make a pre-call sequence. Goal is to increase the show up rate, make the prospect excited, and increase closing rate. Text reminders. You want to make sure that people know when the event is happening. You want to have a text reminder 24 hours before the call, 1 hour before the call, and 15 minutes before the call. This will make sure that the prospect knows when the call is happening, plus it reminds him to make the time free. When you send it a day before, they'll be like, yo, I have a call at that time, I'm not gonna make any plans at that time, which is increasing the show up rate. Now, email reminders. The point of email reminders is to get them to watch the pre-call video, which we'll get to in a second. Email 1 immediately after booking to get them to watch the video ASAP, and email 2 6 hours before the call is happening to get them to watch the video and to make sure they actually watched it. And the pre-call video will increase show up rates, closing rates, get them excited. You'll get the point in a minute. You want to send a manual voice note before the call. Once again, more personal, more connection. Just something quick like this. Yo, I see we have a call in like 30 minutes. See you there, brother. This is the exact thing I say to my guys. To my prospects. So yeah, send it on IG or WhatsApp. By making it personalized and not automated, it increases the show up rate even more. This is an example. Pre-call video. A pre-call video will increase show up rate, make the prospect excited, extra nurture them, and increase closing rates. This is the video you sent to them in the email reminders. You can host it on Notion or YouTube. YouTube is more organic, but Notion is more professional, I think. I host it on Notion. So yeah, there is a lot that goes into this. If you want a detailed explanation of the pre-call video, you can DM me on IG. But just to give you a brief explanation, first you make sure that, again, they know when the call is happening, where the call is happening, like Google Meet, for example. You tell them to prepare anything you need from them. You make them excited by showing them more testimonials you have, more results you have with people who were exactly like that type of prospect. And again, you touch on pain points in that video, you get them emotional in that exact video, and you show them where you can get them in that video. Not only nurture them, not only build more connection, not only build more trust, but get them excited because they're like, yo, this is happening. And they'll be like, yo, all of these people went on a call with him. I had the opportunity to get on a call with this guy in an hour. I have to get on a call. All of this goes a lot more in depth. Like just for Reels, for example, there is a ton of headache with those. You have to outsource them. You have to get the right editors. You have to review footage. Every day you have to put it in tracking sheets. You have to be up to date with stuff that's happening on social media and everything. Stories as well. You have to make all of them. You have to figure out what you're gonna do. YouTube videos as well. There is a lot of shit you have to do, and all of it goes really much more in depth. Like I could make the same style of video for Reels only and make it this big. Even bigger, bro. But this is just a brief understanding. Follow me on IG.